It happened on a Tuesday in late May or April. I wore my white sleeveless dress adorned with coal-black abstract flowers. I wore fancy green ballet flats you only wear to weddings and funerals. Soaked in guilt and pride, I boarded the train to Walnut Creek, wondering what would happen next. I told my friends that I had a doctor's appointment. But really, I was off to see a lover I convinced myself that I had to have. I was ashamed to tell them. I stood in his room, staring stupidly at him. His dirty blonde hair was swept up in a purple pirate bandana. He tied a black blindfold around my eyes. His hands lingered in my hair. He led me to his bed. "Do whatever you want," I told him. My voice quivered. I was hoping he would just grab my breasts and hold me, and that would be it. Instead, he lifted my dress very slowly and took off my white underwear. He looked, felt, and sincerely screwed my sensibilities about finger-fucking. He was really enjoying himself. I smiled gracefully like they do in finishing school. I wanted him to think that I liked it. He stopped finally and said, "You don't have to do this." We both knew that good-natured sentence was untrue. I had to do this. It was the only way he would forgive me. I wanted to slap him. I had convinced him that I was suicidal when I wasn't. I had convinced him that I had multiple personality disorder when I didn't. I was playing the game everyone else was playing. I just went too far, like I do in pretty much everything. How can you blame me? I was barely 14. It could have just ended there, me feeling guilty for a couple of days, apologizing, avoiding him at bowling, but no, I had to rid myself of this feeling of guilt, this embarrassment, this feeling of being in the wrong. Little did I know he was weaving his elaborate spider web, waiting for me to fall in. "You have such a beautiful face," he told me. My hand slipped down his pants, and numbness overcame me. It was so casual that we talked about the very fact for weeks afterwards. When I came home that day, my mother asked me if I had kissed him. I denied any attraction to him. She sighed in relief. I went to my room and looked in the mirror. "I'm a slut. I'm a fucking whore," I said to my reflection. I walked to school in a new kind of confidence, a kind of confidence no one knew I had. I was invincible. If anyone knew, they would just die. A secret sex and confidence will make even an ugly Betty beautiful, and believe me, I'm no ugly Betty. Perhaps my downfall was my ego, my pride. He made it skyrocket, made me think I was in control, made me think he worshipped the ground that I walked on. But it really was the other way around. We talked on the phone constantly, 2-3 hours a day. Maybe it was more than that. There was something so intoxicating about his voice, it made my mind orgasm, and he used it to his advantage. Very well, I might add. School ended and summer began. Somewhere in between there he gave me head. I can only describe it as a tide pulling away something of great importance, something I regret losing, and replacing it with a drug, strong and irreversible, something that people ruin their lives for. I believe I became addicted then. It was all I thought about. And so it went on. The 5-hour conversations, the secrecy and the lies. I fell deeper and deeper into his web. My parents became suspicious, so to diverge their attention I got a cover boyfriend named Sean. He was blonde and attractive, funny in an obnoxious way, and kind of stupid. I brought him to the last day of school just to prove I had a boyfriend. My school loved Sean. They just didn't think I was dating him. There was gossip, and of course it got back to you-know-who. He was none at all happy about Sean, but he didn't say anything. Conversation started to get boring. Sex was all right. All he seemed to want to do was hold me. I made up a falsehood, a fanciful story only a pathological liar would create. Frederick was my sugar daddy, and I slept with him on Mondays and Wednesdays. He got me coke and acid, money and coffee, and many other unmentionable things. I really liked this lie of mine. I even told it to my best friend Rose. He made excuses on the phone when I told him about Frederick, and hung up without even saying goodbye, I love you, as he usually did. I was delighted. He was angry. Oh, how much fun this would be, I thought to myself. Never have I been so fucking wrong in my life. When I went to his house 3 days later, he had changed. He was harder, meaner, and more demanding. His giant-like hands grabbed my breasts, squeezing them until I cried out in pain. His eyes were hard and cold. "Whore," he whispered in my ear. "You're worthless," he said. "Your only purpose is to pleasure me with your hands, mouth, and cunt," I believe were his exact words. Adrenaline pumped through me. Red race cars go up and down my veins at the speed of light. My heart beats like a drum in a punk band, loud and obnoxious, raw and true. It beats faster and faster, as if I'm on speed. I told myself I'm not afraid as his hand tightened around my neck. I warmed to his fingers, letting myself go as if I didn't care that my heart rose above my chest, as if I didn't care that he snatched it, swallowing it whole. He let go and chuckled. "You're not worthless, Sarah," he said. "You're too beautiful to be worthless." I told him to slap me, and he didn't even hesitate. My lips curled into a seductive smile. "I want to kill myself," I stated. His face darkened. "I want to kill myself." I was so fucking angry. His hands grabbed my red shorn hair in clumps, jerking my head towards his crotch. He unzipped his pants with one hand, the other still holding my head. "Suck it," was his command. "No," I said, my voice hollow and small. "Please don't make me do this," I begged. He pressed my head down, holding my nose tightly so my mouth was forced open. I dove into the murky waters of a polluted lake. The water is black and acidic, causing discomfort to my porcelain skin. I swim deeper and deeper, searching for an answer to an age-old question. Somehow, I get caught by a chain. It cuts into the sensitive skin of my ankle. I blow bubbles in exasperation. As much as I struggle, fight, and pull, I cannot break free. My face changes from determination to desperation. I lose consciousness rapidly, descending into the abyss of nothingness. I have drowned. He comes in my mouth. The taste is salty and unpleasant. "You did very well, my pet," he said. Spinning it all over his bed, I lay down, staring at the ceiling vacantly. I want to shake and shiver like an animal does when a trauma has befallen it, but I suppress the urge. "You deserve pleasure now." He finger-fucks me, licking his fingers when he's finished. Then he wraps his hands around me, holding me for a long time. He whispers in my ear, "This is what I wanted to do all along." I was tangled in his web, caught and trembling. I was a dragonfly and he was a spider, and very soon he was to have me for an afternoon snack. When I came home that day, my mother asked me if I had gotten into a fight with him. I replied that everything was hunky-dory. She sighed in relief. I went to my room and looked in the mirror. I didn't see a seductive, beautiful woman. I saw a frightened little girl on the verge of tears. A month passed. It ended on a Friday in late June or July. When the train stopped at Walnut Creek, my heart skipped a beat. An overwhelming feeling of fear consumed me. I couldn't breathe. My neck tightened. My heart beat faster than it had ever before. I didn't know why this was happening to me, and then I realized this was the stop. This was the BART station where it all began. I didn't want to end it, but everything inside me said this cannot go on any longer. The undeniable will to survive took over. I pulled my cell phone out of my purse. I pressed the send button a little harder than I needed to. "Hello," he said. "I'm not coming on Sunday," I told him, my voice not at all firm. "Why?" "Because I don't want to," I replied. "Oh," he said, "I understand." I wanted to scream, I wanted to swear, but instead I said, "I have to go now," and I hung up. An old man sat across from me. His milky blue eyes stared out into space. I wondered if he knew he had just witnessed the hardest thing I have ever done. My white sleeveless dress with the coal black abstract flowers was burned in the microwave by my mother, I believe on purpose. My green ballet flats fell apart as I walked up a San Francisco hill in Glen Park, laughing the night away with my so-called friends. All that is left is the undeniable pain that cuts through me every once in a while.